Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Hey there.
Today, we're plunging headfirst into one of the most passionate and, enduring debates in animated fandom.
Oh, I know this.
We're talking, of course, about Zutara, that non-canonical but incredibly beloved romantic pairing, Zuko and Katara from Avatar, Last Airbender.
Indeed. And for this deep dive, our sources, well, they come from a pretty comprehensive analysis. We're pulling apart character arc, symbolic connections.
Even some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. Some fascinating insights there, too. It's really an exploration of how we, as fans, engage with the stories we love.
Okay, so our mission today: extract the key insights. Why does this pairing resonate so? What's it tell us about character development, storytelling?
And how you engage with narratives.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to unpack the layers and maybe, just maybe, explore if Zutara would have actually been better. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. First off, you can't ignore the sheer popularity of Zutara in the fan community.
No, you really can't. Despite never being canon, officially the relationship in the show, it has huge presence.
It's huge. On platforms like Tumblr, it's something like 5 times more popular than the canon ship.
5 times?
Yeah, and Google Trends. Consistently 3 to 4 times more popular. It's dominant.
That's wild. Is there anywhere Katang is more popular?
Well, interestingly, yes. Nigeria is apparently the only country where the canon pairing, Katang, edges it out.
Huh. Okay.
But for most people, this isn't just like wish fulfillment or something superficial. Shippers, the fans who advocate for it, they argue pretty deeply that Zutara is, and I quote, more meaningful.
And you can kind of see the immediate appeal, right? It's that classic opposites attract thing.
Totally. Fire and water.
Red and blue, the dark, brooding hero Zuko, and the nurturing sort of feminine heroine Katara.
Mm-hmm. And let's be honest.
The fan art.
The fan art is gorgeous. Like, it just feels right when you look at it.
It does. But like you said, for so many fans, it's way more than just aesthetic.
Oh, much. And to really get that deeper meaning, we probably need to start with Katara's journey.
Okay. Where do we begin with her?
Well, she's introduced as the last waterbender in her tribe, right?
Oh.
Survivor of a Fire Nation genocide. Her mother sacrificed her own life to save her.
Which is just heavy. And it meant she had to grow up incredibly fast. Much faster than Sokka, her brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads to this deep sense of loneliness. You really see it in the Runaway episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's stuck being the responsible adult, managing the risk, while everyone else gets to, have fun.
It's heartbreaking, and that trauma, that loss, it fuels this really intense hatred for the Fire.
Understandably so. And in her eyes, Zuko, the Fire Nation prince she first meets, he is the Fire Nation. He embodies the force that destroyed her family, killed her mother.
So when he invades her home and then along later sacrifices himself, for Katara, it must feel like history repeating itself. Horribly.
Exactly, like a re-traumatization.
And there's also the weight of her culture, right? Her waterbending culture was cut off, suppressed.
Right. She was raised to hide her power, had no access to training in. Remember her stealing that waterbending scroll in season 1?
Yeah, it wasn't just jealousy of Aang.
No, it was like her first real taste of her own heritage, something she'd been totally isolated. It was an act of reclamation.
So her journey then becomes about reckoning with all that her past, her grief, but also her own power.
Realizing her abilities. We see it when she learns healing from Zhang, when she challenges Master Paku.
That's guts.
Serious guts. And then you get the puppet master. Hama shows her this darker, vengeful path for waterbending.
Bloodbending, chillin'.
Right. And it forces Katara to make a really conscious choice about how she's going to channel her own grief and rage. It's a huge moment for her identity.
She's often called the heart of the group, though, the moral compass.
Yeah, she is. Always trying to see the best in people, offering hope, pushing them.
Imprisoned.
Leading a revolution with hope. Literally. Exactly. And her whole emotional journey, it gets explored so deeply through her relationship with Zuko. First as enemies, then something else.
Allies.
Yeah.
And that's where those pivotal moments happen.
Definitely. Zuko stealing her mother's necklace is a big early one. Obviously fuels the antagonism.
That's the big one.
Has to be the catacomb scene in season 2. It's iconic for a reason.
It really is. Katara, who sees Zuko as the symbol of all her pain.
Suddenly, she's forced to empathize. She sees his pain. They bond over losing their mothers. That line, that's something we have in common.
It's a massive test of her character, seeing herself in the enemy.
And it's not just about her forgiving him, though that's part of it. It's like her own journey of self-actualization requires her to face and integrate that source of pain. Zuko becomes this mirror for her own growth.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. And it builds, right? towards the Southern Raiders.
Absolutely. She confronts her mother's killer, and Zuko is right there with her. He facilitates it.
And that's when she realized that her anger at Zuko was misplaced.
Sort of. Yeah. That she'd channeled all that trauma, all that pain into this kind of blind rage directed at him as the symbol. And then, crucially, she forgives him. Her whole arc with loss is tied directly to her ability to connect with Zuko on that level.
Okay, so if empathy and forgiveness are fundamental to his journey, the Zutara shippers ask, what's the natural next step after that?
Exactly. That's the core question.
All right, so let's flip it. Let's look at Zuko's side of this equation.
Okay, so Zuko, when we first meet him, yikes.
Yeah. Angsty teen doesn't quite cover it.
No. He's consumed by rage, anger, feelings of inadequacy, and this relentless obsession with regaining his honor.
Our perpetually fiery prince. And we find out why. Banished by his own father, Uzai.
Basically speaking out against sacrificing troops.
Yeah.
And then refusing to fight his dad in the Agni Kai.
And gets that scar, a permanent reminder of what his father called.
It's brutal. And his upbringing is the complete opposite of Katara, in a way. He was rewarded for aggression, for strength, kindness, empathy. Punished.
So he built this whole facade, this bravado to hide, well, his kinder self.
Precisely, which sets up this amazing narrative parallelism, doesn't it?
It really does.
Katara raised to suppress power and nurture. Zuko raised to embrace power and see kindness as weakness. He desperately needs someone, some force to break through that.
Enter Uncle Iroh.
Iroh's the main positive force, always pushing him. Who are you? What do you really want?
But you're saying Katara is another one.
A profoundly positive force, yeah. She's one of the few who seems able to see through the dark, to glimpse the person underneath.
Like offering to heal his scar in the catacomb.
Exactly. That wasn't just about healing a physical wound. It was offering to free him from this huge symbol of shame of his father's rejection.
So his whole arc is about finding his own identity, separate from Ozai, separate from the Fire Nation's debt of honor.
And reckoning with the harm he's done. We see little glimpses of sincerity early on, like saving Jet as the Blue Spirit.
But he snaps back pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. It's only really when he gets declared a traitor in season 2 that things start seriously break down for him. The journey forces him into the vulnerability.
Like in the Blue Spirit, Asang saves him and he just freaks out.
Right. He can't stand appearing weak. Same thing after the Azula fight, refusing Katara's help initially. But season 2 just drags him down, makes him dependent on others. It's completely alien to him.
Zuko alone, that episode is huge for him.
Critical. He's a refugee. Nobody knows who he is. He gets to experiment with being vulnerable, with helping people, and realizes, hey, this is okay. Maybe even good.
And it also brings up his own mother, Ursa, her loss, another parallel with Katara.
A huge one. And later he starts calling himself son of Ursa first. It shows that shift, wanting to embrace that caring side he associates with her.
So this all leads back to Katara being, what did you call her, his final boss of redemption.
Sort of. Because he betrayed her so badly in the catacombs, earning her trust becomes incredibly symbolically important. She represents the people his nation brutalized, the person he personally hurt.
Okay, I see that. So the Southern Raiders, looking at it from his side now.
It's this radical act of empathy. He understands her pain, her rage. Aang wants her to let it go, find peace.
But Zuko gets it.
Zuko gets it. He says no. She needs to confront him, just like I needed to confront my father. He gets her need to process that dark.
And in helping her, his own arc peaks too. He's showing this deep understanding. They're kind of healing each other.
It really feels like that.
Yeah.
And then it culminates in the final battle with Azula. He literally jumps in front of lightning to save Katara.
Takes the hit for her.
And then she is the only one who can heal him. The mutual understanding, the sacrifice, the healing, it's profound. It's the wounded healer and the redeemed anti-hero kind of converging right there.
Okay, so these character arcs are just incredibly intertwined. They mirror each other, they clash, they heal each other. Which brings us back to why so many fans insist the Zutara works.
Right. And a lot of it comes down to that thematic complementarity, how their strengths and weaknesses seem to perfectly fill the gaps in the other.
Like you said, Katara raised to suppress power, Zuko raised to...
Katara needs help processing grief healthfully. Zuko needs someone to teach him how to love, basically, by loving him first.
And they both struggle with anger and trauma.
You've got the sad boy misses his mom and the motherly woman dynamic, which is a classic arc.
Katara is reconnecting with her culture. Zuko's finding an identity outside his culture.
Katara's kindness can temper Zuko's fire. Zuko's proactiveness can ignite Katara's sense of justice, maybe even her anger.
He's scarred. She's a literal healer. He even learns a water-bending move, lightning redirection, and helps her avoid bloodbending.
It's all there. And what this points to narratively is that their individual character arcs peak in relation to each other, often in the same episode. It makes a romance based on that deep mutual respect and understanding feel like a very natural next step for a lot of viewers.
And then there's the symbolism. That's huge, too.
Oh, yeah. Zuko as the blue spirit, using a mask from a dark water tribe spirit. Katara as the painted lady of Fire Nation spirit.
Whoa. I never connected those quite like that.
Right. They use these disguises to do things they couldn't as themselves. It's like a perfect yin-yang.
A bit of fire in her water, a bit of water in his fire.
Exactly. And you see that symbolism explored constantly in fan art, visually very potent.
Which leads to why Zutara often feels, well, more exciting to people than Katang, that inherent conflict.
Totally. People are drawn to the enemies to lovers trope. It uses that cognitive dissonance. How can these two hate each other and potentially love each other to create really high stakes?
The transformation feels earned.
Precisely. That initial hate makes the eventual connection feel deeper, more profound. You have the doomed love feel, the forced proximity, like the catacombs again, trapped together. It's just dramatically interesting.
Whereas Katang, some might argue, relies more on a miscommunication trope sometimes, like kissing her, her feeling, the quote goes, worn down.
Yeah, it's that classic debate. Enemies to lovers versus friends to lovers. Think Draco Hermione versus Ron Hermione in Harry Potter fandoms. There's an appeal to the anti-hero understanding the heroine's darker side.
Like Zuko understanding Katara's rage in Southern Raiders when Aang maybe doesn't fully.
Exactly. And this also contrasts sharply with Zuko's actual canon relationship with Mai.
Right. How does that fit in?
Well, their relationship is often shown as pretty dysfunctional. Mai seems kind of disinterested, emotionally distant a lot of the time.
Zuko even calls her out on it, doesn't he?
Explicitly. He criticizes her for bottling up feelings, for lacking passion, and the traits he seems to want, emotional depth, passion, sound a lot more like Katara or maybe even Ty Lee.
It's like that trope where the character describes their ideal partner and they're basically describing someone else entirely without realizing it.
Exactly. He wants her and doesn't even know it. And Zuko's arc, after a crossroads of destiny, really highlights this. He gets everything he thought he wanted home, on or Mai.
And it's hollow.
Completely hollow. Which makes that moment in the catacombs with Katara feel, in retrospect, like this glimpse of something truly meaningful he was maybe destined for.
Though, to be fair, one could argue my steadiness offers a different kind of strength, maybe less drama.
Sure, you could see it that way. It's a different dynamic. But for Zuko's specific journey of emotional growth and vulnerability, connection with Katara just seems to resonate more deeply with his core conflicts for many fans.
Okay, so beyond the text itself, are there other things that suggest Zutara might have been actually?
Oh yeah, there's some intriguing bits. The Ember Island Players episode.
The play within the play. Hilarious.
Right. And Aang is all confused about his relationship status with Katara. She gives that vague, we're in the middle of a war excuse. And meanwhile, the actors playing Zuko and Katara in the play are falling for each other.
That does feel like a bit of a wink, doesn't it?
It kind of does. And then there's Avatar extras. Those pop-up facts on reruns.
He's semi-canonical, yeah.
Semi-canonical. And they explicitly state Zutara was on the table in the writer's room.
Whoa, okay.
And get this, those specific extras were often written by Joshua Hamilton, who also wrote key episodes heavy on the Zutara dynamic, like Ember Island Players, Cave of Two Lovers, and worked on Southern Raiders.
Okay, that adds some weight.
And the creators themselves have said they didn't fully lock in Katang until around season 3. There was an early draft of Southern Raiders, apparently, that described Zuko and Katara working together as an awesome pair, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Seriously?
Yeah, with Zutara fueling synchronicity, even comparing them to a married couple. Now, obviously, that's just a draft, not canon. But it shows that way of thinking wasn't totally alien to the creative process. It gives fans fuel for interpreting those intense moments as potentially romantic.
And it feeds into the argument some fans make that Katang feels a bit one-sided.
That Katara maybe lacks some agency in, that she's sort of worn down by Aang's pursuit. In contrast, Zutara, potentially, could have offered more mutual agency, a more equally footing based on that shared journey.
Okay, this brings us to shipping culture itself. It gets a bad rap sometimes.
It really does. And it's often dismissed as just childish wish fulfillment or, a girl's thing, which is just wrong and dismissive and, frankly, elitist.
Right. Because when you look at something like Zutara, it's often based on really close analysis.
Exactly. It's like you said earlier, sometimes fans see these connections, these thematic resonances that maybe even the creators didn't fully spell out, but they feel true to the characters in the world.
Yeah, it's almost like this collaborative meaning make. Zutara relies on what some might call over-interpretive metaphor, right? Looking beyond the literal.
Right. Finding those deeper symbolic links. Katara as the healing force for Zuko, the symbolic mother figure, the yin-yang thing we talked about. It's a really deep engagement with the story's potential meanings.
What about that myth, Omar and Shu?
Ah, yes. From the Cave of Two Lovers. The details of that myth, two lovers, different villages, one associated with red, one with blue, meeting in a cave filled with green crystal.
That sounds remarkably like Zuko and Katara in the Ba Sing Se catacomb, more than the Aang and Katara.
It really does. The parallels are striking. And interestingly, the recent Netflix live-action series visually leans into this, making Omar and Shu look very red and blue. Fans definitely picked up on it.
It shows how fans connect these dots, build this really coherent argument from different parts of the lore.
Absolutely. And the Zutara community, honestly, they dig deep into the text, the themes, the symbols. You're talking about healing, redemption, trauma, growth, agency, empowerment, often on a level that casual viewers might miss entirely.
It reminds me of those video essays you see, like rewriting the ending of Game of Thrones or something. It's this imaginative textual analysis, exploring what could have been based on the story's own logic.
It's exactly that. It's showing how much potential people see in these characters and their relationships.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, Zutara might have been considered, but the show probably didn't have enough runway for it to develop naturally, especially with Zuko joining the group so late.
True. It would have needed more time.
But fundamentally, shipping culture at its best is about people engaging meaningfully with a story they love and finding ways to realize its themes in a way that feels personal and beautiful to them.
Because even though platonic bonds are powerful and Zuko and Katara's canon friendship is meaningful.
Incredibly meaningful.
People are just drawn to love stories. Love is such a core human experience. We get invested, we want the best for these characters, and often that includes wanting them to find that deep romantic connection. It's a testament to the story that fans care enough to imagine these possibilities.
Well said.
So we've really dug into the arguments for Zutara, the character arcs, the symbols, the fandom interpretation. We've seen just how deeply connected Katara and Zuko's journeys became, even if romance wasn't their final path. And this maybe raises a bigger question for you, the listener, to think about. In any story, is the most profound connection always the romantic one?
Interesting question.
Or can a bond that's forged through shared trauma, growth through that deep mutual can that be just as impactful, maybe even more so? Think about it. What stories do you see these kinds of powerful, non-romantic connections in? And how do they resonate?